Hey guys, time for another game theory psychology social study video sort of thing. Taking a break from the big butts. Remember if you like the videos, like, subsidy, comment, share, support the channel if you want. So I was just thinking about this, the will to win, you know what I mean? And I talk about, I think one of the most important things besides, being skillful at video games is the killer instinct. Because once you get known as someone that wins or something like that, you need to have that killer instinct to continue to win because people will want to see you lose. And I was thinking about that as well because, again, I guess I kind of let the cat out of the bag. One of the guys that I have played in a few sets in Guilty Gear from my channel is that Atlanta, Georgia guy. And I know I played him a few sets and I'm like, man, you seem good to me. Like, how do you do when you play? And, he's told me that, he does pretty well for himself and he's continuing to do better. And he's also told me as he's been doing better as well that, you know what I mean, now that he's becoming more known as like one of the good guys, I guess, online, that, now people want him to lose. And, it's like, he also told me he beat Dennis recently, which I thought was great because that guy is such a fucking idiot, dude. 40 years old in my DMs, begging me to be his friend. And if I don't be his friend, he's going to continue to talk shit about me. So I was glad to hear some of the stories of the people that he's beat. Fuck that guy. What an idiot. But, and I was like, I'm telling you, dude, it's just like I always have made all these videos, dude. Like, once you get known as someone that is good at a video game or maybe good at anything, there's going to be a lot of people that want to see you lose. You know what I mean? And that's why you need that killer instinct to, continue to push you forward through that. And that is something that I always lacked as a player. Like, I never had that kind of large competitive ego, you know what I mean, for fighting games in that way. You know what I mean? Of course, I not that I want to lose. Fuck, of course I don't want to lose. Of course I want to win. But that kind of killer instinct, you know what I mean? I never had that as a player, right? And it's a weakness. And I think it's something important to have. On some level, I would think that I would also say that I think a lot of people probably don't have it, right? I mean, if you look at the mob mentality of the fighting game community in general, you know what I mean? The fact that we just showed a guy that has played 12,000 times, way more than I've played, ridiculously. You know what I mean? And people act like this guy is good and they make excuses. When you make excuses for all these guys, look at the Steve H story. You know what I mean? They're trying to say the tournaments that I won that he was at are fake and all this kind of stuff. There's just, man, there are so many players in the fighting game community that get held on a pedestal for stuff that's not even true. And I would say that is something, I don't think these guys have a competitive or a killer instinct either. So it's not like, I do think having a killer instinct is a skill because I don't think a lot of these guys, they would not fucking survive without this mob mentality of, promoting people for stuff they've never even done. You know what I mean? You haven't even faced adversity, right? I mean, there was only a short period of time when I would say, liked in the community. You know what I mean? Like I said, I won that. My first year of disability, I won almost every tournament I entered besides Evo, basically, like for an entire year. You know what I mean? And during that time, for sure, I remember that, I had some, I guess you would say, backing that I didn't need a killer instinct, so to speak, because people actually were friendly with me. I was winning so much. Do you know what I mean? But then the Evo thing happened, which of course, you know what I mean? Can you imagine if that happened now? Randomly making me play on this fucking projector screen saying it's not going to lag and, people, because I had been winning tournaments, even sick. I won some tournaments pretty fucking sick, dude. And, so I had some people that were, I actually had people that liked me for a very, very short period of time that I was winning, right? But then that Evo happened. And then, man, the days when they tried to say that lag wasn't real, my God, a projector screen lag, right? And they tried to make me out to be a crybaby and I lied about it. And I'm like, yo, bro, come on. And then the Tom Ass thing happened, you know what I mean? And they tried to make me out to be a villain. And so I only had a short period of time when I even had, encouragement that I was good. It was almost always, we want Clayton to lose. We want Clayton to lose. We want Clayton to lose. And There's that last tournament I won, or not technically the last, but the tournament because I won local tournaments after that as well. But the last tournament that I traveled to and I won or whatever, how could you let Final Showdown win again? Blah, 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 kind of thing. Steve H, Marn, Combo Fiend, all these guys that were considered good. And I was just like, how could you let Final Showdown? They were like, how could you let Final Showdown win again? And I was just like, it's just not fun. You know what I mean? And I didn't have the killer instinct to, you know, continue to deal with that, especially with the health issues that I have. You know what I mean? So I think, again, I was talking to that Atlanta, Georgia guy, and apparently he's becoming more known as one of the good guys online. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, now people kind of want to see me lose. And it's like, dude, I told you that shit happens, dude. Once you get, the more known you get, the more people are going to want to see you lose. And I am celebrating the fact that I hear the stories of the people that you beat that talk shit about me. And I know people, he was telling me some story, like, he was saying like, oh yeah, some people think that this guy's better than you. And he's like, dude, you would destroy these guys. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what, dude, I know I've destroyed some of these guys already. I haven't played everybody. I will take heart in the fact that I'm hearing that you're beating them. So, you know what I mean? I think competitive ego, so, that killer instinct is important. I think killer instinct, the only thing I've sort of had a killer instinct for is I think maybe tech-wise, there's a bit of a killer instinct, but I think you could also almost say that that's almost kind of like kind of just human nature. I think as a human, kind of, you want to, just like you want to travel maybe, or try new foods, whatever kind of petty thing it might be. You want to have new experiences. So, tech-wise, or finding new stuff about video games, you know what I mean? What's new? There's that kind of human element of wanting to find something new. But I think killer instinct, I have a little bit more of a killer instinct to prove that I'm the best tech-wise, right? You know what I mean? That, because there's a little bit more of an ego there, I guess. More so than, I don't really consider myself competitive, even though when I play, I win generally, I guess. But I don't, I'm not practicing like that. I don't play like that. I physically can't, even if I wanted to, you know what I mean? People got to realize once you're sick, you know what I mean? You start off every day with half a tank of gas, right? And I got to like pick and choose. And there's this, to compare this, not a great comparison, but there's that one guy, I think, is it Andy Beckman or something like that? He was some guitar player, and he ended up getting sick, and I think he has like Lou Gehrig's disease or something. He's like in a legit wheelchair or something now, and he can't really speak, but he had some like great quote, and it was like, something like, my health has taken away my body, but not my mind, or something like that. Now, of course, I'm not, sick like that, you know what I mean, in a wheelchair, but of course, for sure, because of my health, I've had to, change my life. You know what I mean? I can't, I want to be healthy. So I only have so much energy to use, just my body in general, my hands. So I would rather, if I can work out a little bit, work out than play video games. Do you know what I mean? But using that quote, I don't think that was an exact quote, but it was something like that. He talks about his mind still works. And my mind still, I'm slow and I ramble a lot, but my mind still works to be able to look at a video game and to be able to explore it, right? You know what I mean? And that's why I had to teach myself to be able to look at video games and tell how they're going to work without ever playing them, to compensate for my health problems. And so, from that perspective, I think there's kind of a competitive ego for tech or something like that. Like, I like being able to say that, again, I talk shit about this guy basically, but you know what I mean? He's done a lot, maybe execution, he's the best ever, but you look at guys like Desk. Desk is a guy that, to me, he's held on a pedestal for stuff that's not true. He constantly gets credit for stuff that's not even remotely true. You know what I mean? He's an execution guy. He's not a game changer. He hasn't changed the perspective on video games. You know what I mean? That guy, to me, he's a guy, when I look at him, he has not had to face that adversity to have like a killer instinct for tech, because people consider him the best. So many people look at his channel for shit that's not even remotely true. Whereas for me, you know what I mean? I know that whenever I put out videos tech-wise or something like that, I need to put out the best video or I need to put out, something that no one else has ever done, something that will always change people's perspective because people want me to lose tech-wise, right? People want me to lose tech-wise. That Napa example was a great example. I haven't played Napa before. 4 years the game's been out. Played them for 2 hours, and I found one new link and a couple of weird setups. And the community wanted me to lose so bad. They're like, oh, Clayton only found one new thing and a couple new weird, video combos. Who cares? And I was like, are you kidding me? I haven't played the character in the 4 years that he's been out. In 2 hours, I still was able to put out something new that no one else has ever done, right? So competitively, ego-wise, tech-wise, that is still there. And of course, there's a bit of a human element because, you want to see new things, right? But, for that sort of urge to prove I'm the best is sort of there. And even now, I could say even that urge is very low because, I came to the realization, you know what I mean? I did Dragon Ball Fighter Z just to prove I was the best ever because I knew I could do it. And then Strive was an afterthought. I was like, I'm sure I can, call this game accurately as well. And even that ego is not really there as much, right? And that's why I do a lot of these kind of, I guess I just got to defend myself, you know what I mean? Because there's not, the urge to explore these games is not even there because that competitive ego for tech-wise, that killer instinct, I basically lost that as well. It's no one's going to touch me, right? I mean, I could quit games for 5 years, maybe even 10 years. And I don't know if people would catch all the stuff I've done in video games yet, so. But killer instinct is important, right? And the killer instinct did help me for tech for a while, I think. It helped me overcome my health issues, overcome quotation marks, right? Obviously. Excuse me, health still is what it is, but you know what I mean? But there was the killer instinct for tech-wise, but competitive-wise, there's not that ego of, oh man, these people talk shit about me online. I really need to practice, even though I'm winning, you know what I mean? But I'm sure people could beat me. I'm surprised how much I win, but you know what I mean? I'm sure if there's more of a killer instinct, almost a sort of suicidal killer instinct, a detrimental killer instinct, I'd be like, you know what? I don't want to be healthy. I'm not going to work out. Any energy I have is going to be for video games. But what a fucking retarded life that would be. I feel like I've already done plenty competitive-wise video games considering my circumstances. And that killer instinct, you know what? I want to live while I still can the little bit that I can. Being healthy. I have the killer instinct to be healthy, right? And push myself as much as I can while I have energy. That killer instinct for that one-on-one competitive video game-wise is not there. And I would say it was more so there for tech, but even that is kind of lower now. But anyway, remember if you like the videos, that was kind of just a rambling, talking to a wall, social study video. Remember if you like videos, like, subscribe, comment, share, support the channel if you want. I appreciate it. Thanks, the end.